Coming to you from the studios at the Illinois Rock and Roll Museum on Route 66, it's the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast.
Rock and roll Chicago, rock and roll Chicago, my hometown. Well, I was born in the city, gonna rock the city, Chicago. Chicago rock and rollers are the best here around.
Hey, everybody, it's Ray the Roadie.
And this here is a very irritated Hollywood Mike.
Ooh, irritated.
Yeah.
Do you have a tick or something?
Shall we start with the Bears as we always do?
Oh, my God.
Was that pathetic or what the hell was that shit?
It was. And then my second favorite team that you got to have a second team if you're a Bears fan.
You have to have a second team.
So mine is Dallas.
Oh,
and they got it handed to them. They got it handed to them too. So it's
my second team is the Saints. So
okay,
nothing we can do about any of that stuff right now.
No, we can't.
I firmly believe that there's nothing wrong with the team. There's nothing wrong with the team. Okay, maybe there's a couple things they can fix, right? Mm-hmm. A couple things, to tweak here and there.
Sure.
But the coaches have no idea how to finish a football game.
No, they do not. They do not.
They had that game all but wrapped up.
Yep. The defense is standing up, and that part Eberflus is doing.
Yeah, I guess he is.
He was a defensive coordinator. He's running the defense because they fired the other guy.
Yeah, I guess he is.
That's
and all the stuff about Justin Fields. Leave the guy alone.
Yeah, let him do his thing.
You're going to get rid of a guy after 3 years and he hasn't really had any good coaching.
Right.
I mean, come on. I mean, how many times are you going to search until you find a shoe that fits?
It's like me getting rid of you in less than 100 episodes.
Yeah, right. Right. I mean, yeah, exactly. It's all just Cinderella stories.
That's right. It is Cinderella stories, isn't it?
I like that.
See how he did that there?
Yeah. Why did you do that?
I have no idea. Why did we do that?
I don't know. Who's our guest tonight?
These guys are Night Songs, right? Night Songs? That's I got the text from you today and it was like Night Songs. And it was like, I didn't know if that was the name of a band or a song. Yeah. But it's Night Songs, right?
It's Night Songs.
It's both now.
Yeah. It sure is.
Alrighty, why don't you tell everybody who you guys are and what you do in the band?
All right. I'm Tom Schmidt. I play drums.
All right.
I am Eric Ballinger. I am the lead singer.
I am Steve Winswich. I'm one of the guitar players.
I'm Ed Ribeiro, and I'm one of the bass player. I'm the bass player.
Yes.
First band I know with multiple bass players.
He's one of the keyboardists.
You take this one.
Yeah.
Strange enough.
Suddenly we have Spinal Tap. They're a Cinderella tribute and Spinal Tap band all in one.
Oh, no. That'd be cool. Have a Spinal Tap tribute band.
Well, can you imagine that?
Yeah.
We can do Big Bottom, Sex Farm. Those are all good.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah.
And the sequel is coming out.
It is.
That's right. It is. Yeah. I wonder if it'll go to 12.
Yeah. Man, you're on top of it today. You are sharp.
I'm sharp as a tack.
I don't know what that's going to be like, that movie. It's either going to be awesome or it's going to suck.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we learned a lot from that movie. We always make sure that we're after the puppet show, not, before the puppet show on the marquee.
Right.
Exactly.
So I guess everybody's kind of figured out what it is that you guys do. Who wants to start the hotel as to how the band came about and when the band came about and everything?
Well, so basically I've been in a band with Steve, another band that's kind of and Tom, sorry, Tom. But I started with Steve, drummers. But I started with Steve like I almost 30 years ago, I think. And I got to know him through my ex-wife, and he still has a wife. So
Say the name of the band.
The name of the band is Gallery. So it's kind of a classic rock thing, but it kind of started out. Steve and I met through our wives, and he was just like a brother from another mother in a way, because we just both of us loved the whole late 70s, 80s to maybe 91 hard rock scene. If you want to call it the hair metal scene, I think this is kind of a derogatory term in general, but we just loved those bands, whether it be Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Cinderella, Poison, Def Leppard, all of that stuff. We literally had almost the same exact record CD collection. It was ridiculous.
Right.
So, and I'm a bass player. He's a guitarist. It just happened to work out well, and we've been in bands forever. And then, as part of the Gallery thing, we both sing in that band, and we do some AC/DC and stuff like that. And I have that kind of, for some reason, my natural singing voice is that gravelly, screaming kind of, voice. I'm not a professional singer. I don't pretend to be. I've never taken lessons, but it just happened to work. So, we saw that a lot of bands were doing, there were a lot of tribute bands out there to that great 80s scene that we were doing, whether it be a Poison band or a Def Leppard band or whatever, a lot of Motley Crue bands out there. And I think I said to Steve one day, I'm like, I think I could do this Tom Kiefer stuff. I think I could sing it. Let's, maybe it's, let's do a second thing, maybe give it a shot, kind of see how that works.
What's weird about that is I got a whole different recollection of that.
Oh, do you? Of course you do.
All right, here we go. I was going to say, Tom, we'll clear this up.
So my whole take on this band was that Gallery kept practicing during COVID. And
that's how he got his gravelly voice.
And that's how he got his gravelly. So, a couple of friends and other bands and stuff are calling around because nobody's playing. Everybody wants to go out and jam a little bit. And we got contacted. I believe, Ed, you reached out and he's like, hey, you guys playing? We got people that just don't want to play or what's going on. And everybody had all different reasons because it was a crazy world. So Ed gets together with his guitar player from Rise. And they come on over and they start jamming and stuff. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, we're putting an album. We're doing the cover to cover Night Songs album.
So
right?
you're pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Help me out on this.
So Ed and Axe, who's not here with us tonight.
Because I'm just the drummer. Nobody tells me anything.
You are just the drummer.
This is like the Clue movie. At the end, we're going to find out.
So Ed's ex-boyfriend's roommate called his dog. And
we had a couple people that locked themselves down, so to speak.
Yeah.
Rise had a couple people that locked themselves down. So we got together with Ed and Axe, and we actually decided to play a lot of stuff that nobody was playing. Just kind of some off the wall stuff. And we decided to start with the first 3 songs off of Cinderella's Night Songs album. We played those. We got together. We played them. They went really well. So the next rehearsal, we got together and we decided to do the next 3. And we did that. And we kind of walked out of there thinking, it looks like we might be a Cinderella tribute band.
yeah.
We also brought in Jill Gustafson from a band called Field Day. She's a backup singer with us. Couldn't be here tonight either, but that rounds out the band, the 6 of us. So got together during COVID, people that still wanted to play, and we put this together, and it just kind of happened on its own.
And the crazy thing was, I think that before we got even halfway through the album learning that, we were getting calls about bookings already, which was crazy. And I was like, what the heck is going on here? And all of us would just look at each other and we're like, this, maybe we're onto something here.
I remember Tom looking at me one time saying, how far could this go?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it just blew up.
Couldn't get Gallery in a bowling alley, but all of a sudden Night Songs is taking off.
Wow.
Yeah. Just because other bands that were doing it needed kind of an opening act. And at the time, let's say we just did the full Night Songs album. That's 45 minutes or whatever. Perfect opening act. We just went right in there and did it. We're off. The other band, it just worked, And then, we were just getting calls all of a sudden because the other thing was there wasn't any other tribute to Cinderella that was really out there.
100% guaranteed.
Yeah. It's kind of a different.
Well, how do they know about you?
That's a great question. I mean, we know so many of the musicians that we've done other shows with around the area. And that's what's great about it is we're all, we don't compete. We're all great friends. I mean, I think all the other bands, whether it be bands like Poison's Crew or, Crew U or even Hairbangers Ball, some of those other ones, all great people. We're all friends. And they said, why don't you give it a shot and open them up for us and stuff like that. So
we did the typical, we created a Facebook page, got some advertising out there, and then just kind of let it happen from there.
And who are the other 2 people that aren't with us today?
We've got Axe 80, who is one of the other guitar players.
Okay.
And then Jill Gustafson is the backup singer.
Gotcha. Okay. Didn't mean to interrupt there.
No,
I knew
we need to
6
introduce
people.
you.
You need 6 people in the band. Okay. And so what year was this? How long has this project been together? Or let's back up a little bit because it seems like there's a common thread with Gallery. So how is Gallery still together?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're kind of like doing double duty or whatever. So how long was Gallery together, and at what point did you decide you're gonna throw this project together?
Gosh, I mean, Gallery's been through. Gallery's probably been around 25 years.
Yeah.
And it's more of that. It was more of a classic. There's been so many iterations of Gallery. Before, when we first started, we were doing stuff like, a Steely Dan to Extreme.
I want to say I've seen Gallery. I'm pretty sure I've seen Gallery.
I mean, we've been around a while. I mean, and then other members left. Our drummer moved away. Other members quit. We found Tom on Band Mix, right? Yeah. Yeah. So, and what was really easy because our old drummer was Tom and I didn't have to remember a new name. It just actually worked out perfectly.
Right.
My name's not actually Tom.
Oh, it's not Tom?
It's not Tom.
It's hey you. Hey,
It's Maurice, but he doesn't like to be.
Right. Gosh, I want to say I definitely saw Gallery. Did you guys ever play the Arcada?
Yes.
Yeah, we did do an Arcada show once a while ago. Yeah.
I think that's where I saw you. Who did you guys have do you have a keyboard player in that band?
We did for a while, named Ken. Ken Label was his name.
Man.
I wonder if, I mean, and that band kind of just, we tried to hit like the classic rocks and the other people weren't doing. We were doing Nugent and April Wine and, Head East and, Petty and stuff like that. So it's kind of different. And, when you hooked up with Tom and Tom was a perfect fit. Now it's a 4-piece. It used to be, I think we had 7 people at one point.
Wow.
4-piece, and we're still doing it. So that, and then, like I said, it just, this other band kind of merged from that and Ed's other band, Rise, which was also doing their own thing. If you want to talk about what you guys were doing.
Yeah. So Rise, we kind of bore out of a band called Trash Can Symphony, and we switched over to Rise later on. And we do everything from the 70s to today. You go from John Cougar to Metallica to Fleetwood Mac to Iron Maiden to, anything goes with that band. So we're doing good. We have a guy and a girl singer, so that works great. You can do everything. Our male singer, he actually just got the full-time singing gig for Spasmatics for the
No kidding. Wow.
Chicago area Spasmatics. So he's taken that on, but still with us, and we're still kind of like plugging along, doing our thing. So
okay, all right. And so what year did you guys get together then?
It's been about 2 years now.
About 2 years now?
I mean, COVID. It was during COVID. Was that 2 years ago now?
Okay, so it was during COVID or so. Yeah. Nobody really knows anymore.
No, we
you ask some people. I was like 5 years ago. No,
and,
I think people have been out since about 21 now.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Our and just when the bars were starting to open up again during COVID, our first show was going to be over at MT Barrels in Schaumburg.
Right.
And we all got COVID, but Steve had it by far like the worst. Like you were down. Yeah.
I thought he was going to say dying.
No, me too. I think he felt like it. But so
not to make light of it or anything, because that was a high possibility.
I was worried that it's going to be like Weekend at Bernie's.
No, he's really alive.
No, it was 28 days of hell, and I'm laying there, wondering what's going to happen. And Eric's calling my wife, and it's like, can he do the gig?
I mean, he can't walk to the phone because he has no energy.
Yeah.
I'm like, look, what about the gig? I mean, because it was going to be our first gig ever.
Yeah.
And even worse,
hey, Bubble Boy, you ready yet? Come on.
Even worse, I'm laying in bed trying to figure out how I'm going to do this.
Yeah, I'm like, look, he needs to know an A chord, a G chord. He's fine. Bring him out.
Yeah, right.
What a wuss.
Yeah, right. Wow. So it sounds like you became this Cinderella tribute band almost by accident, or maybe based on your voice. But I mean, it's like, you mentioned other bands like Poison Crew, which we had them in here a few weeks ago. And there's a couple of like Def Leppard tribute bands out there. And I just heard this morning that there's a Guns N' Roses tribute band out there.
Sins and Roses.
But yes, right. But
super good. Yeah.
But for some reason, Cinderella seems more specific than any of that, because
thank you.
Yes.
I mean, it really does. Even though these bands might be covering the music of one band, for some reason Cinderella seems more specific. And I got to think it's because, okay, I can name one hit, right? But as you talk about Poison, I can name several hits, right?
Yeah.
How's that being received? And I mean, and is there enough material, I guess
so yes and no. There's enough material. We've got, 2.5 hours worth of Cinderella material.
Sure.
Whether or not that's going to go over, I think realistically people can handle an hour and a half of Cinderella.
Okay.
When we started out, we were doing just a bunch of 1 hour opening gigs. So now things are getting better. They want us playing longer. So a lot of the tribute bands out there are playing other music from the same genre, so to speak. So
Right.
we started adding some other stuff that is from the same time period to kind of fill up a 2.5 hour gig without people like you going, I knew one of the songs. You know?
Right.
So,
right. Maybe two. Maybe I know two.
Yeah, you probably know more than that, but yeah, that's what we did to try to fill up the time slot. So when we just did last weekend, we did an hour set opening for Bad Motor Scooter, and that will just kind of hammer out an hour of Cinderella and try to stay with the hits and that kind of thing.
Right. Right.
But it's to answer your question, how's it being received? Actually, very well.
Yeah.
Either way, yeah.
Yeah. Now, how many albums did Cinderella actually record over their career?
They did really 4.
They did. Okay.
Yeah, they did. I mean, Night Songs was their original. That was probably, that's what started them off. You probably know Shake Me.
Right. Yep. I know that one.
Nobody's Fool was their big ballad.
That was
in
their big
80s.
ballad,
and
right.
then, Somebody Save Me was the other one. And then their second album was Long Cold Winter. And I think that even sold better. That had Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone and Gypsy Road and Coming Home and a lot of that stuff. Then, their third, Heartbreak Station. But then by their third, the Nirvana and the Pearl Jam came in and destroyed my life.
Yeah.
So took all my music away from me. And then they did a fourth, I think, that called Still Climbing. It never produced anything at that point.
Still climbing.
Yeah, still climbing. It's still climbing from the butt.
That's right, because they were on the tail end of the hair metal era. Because that was my era too. I graduated from high school in 1988. I was listening to all that
86,
stuff.
yeah.
I was listening to all that stuff. But yeah, but it's like Cinderella's the one. If you lined up a bunch of bands, they're the ones that I remember the least, because it's like you said, in came Nirvana, and it was all over.
So if you think about it, though, that first album, they went on tour with Bon Jovi during Slippery When Wet.
Yeah.
And that was huge.
Right.
That tour was enormous, and they were the opening act for that. So that kind of put them on the map right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that would probably explain it, because I'm going to get hate emails for this, but I was never a Bon Jovi fan.
What is your email?
Bon Jovi was one of those bands for me. It's like, okay, yeah, they sound kind of cool, but then I got tired of hearing the wah wah wah. I got tired of hearing that. I was like, okay, I'm done with that.
Yeah. You weren't their market. It was the girls.
That's right.
I mean, you're pretty and all.
But it never worked. Not once did I pick up a chick in a bar by walking up to her and talking like Charlie Brown's teacher.
Right.
Hey, babe. Wah, 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 wah.
She's like, why don't you take the tube out of your mouth and talk to me like a normal person? That's exactly right.
But you're right. Yeah, Nobody's Fool. That always seems to be the cut that makes the K-Tel compilation CDs and all that stuff. Yeah, I remember that completely. Yeah.
Well, the timing was good for us too, because you mentioned there's a couple of Def Leppard tribute bands. There's 4 or 5 Metallica tribute bands.
Oh yeah.
And they're all great. Most of them good friends of ours, but we kind of thought, let's do something a little bit different that nobody else is doing. And we had this guy that could sing it. So we really had nowhere else to go. And it worked out good for all of us.
Yeah. Yeah. You should try a Pet Shop Boys tribute band.
Yeah, see, I don't know any of that.
I don't either.
All right, the 4 people that show up to that one, that'll be good.
Yeah, but that would be interesting, though. Yeah. I've never heard of that before.
There's the Bo Brummels.
So if there's anybody out there listening that wants to put together a Pet Shop Boys plant, please do it and come on the podcast. Let us know how it's going.
We'll get you a Wham tribute. It was, just the one guy and the other guy won't talk at all. Whatever his name was. So,
sounds like Penn and Teller.
I do know his name.
Steve knows the name, because he may have a poster on his wall.
Right. Now the singer of Cinderella, Tom Kiefer. There you go. I know he tried to, maybe it was a few years ago. It may even be pre-COVID now, but I know he has his own band now. But prior to that, I saw a couple of things where he actually was just kind of doing a solo tour, playing acoustic guitar, and he was singing a lot of these Cinderella songs in his full chest voice, and he wasn't going up into that higher range and the falsetto and the whole bit. And I thought that worked pretty well for a little while. And then he went back to, I guess now what I see it, I saw it billed as Tom Kiefer's Cinderella. So I'm sure there's some kind of dispute there over the name or something like that.
He has had his own band for at least 15 years now. And he's been, I mean, I don't think there was a whole, I mean, he's been on like Eddie Trunk's show a lot,
Yep,
you know,
right.
and so he's been on there talking. Eddie's always like, "Are you ever going to put Cinderella back together?" And he's just like, no, it's just not in the cards anymore. Unfortunately, Jeff LaBar passed away, the other guitarist,
Okay.
and Eric Brittingham's doing something else. I'm not sure what the drummer's doing, but his band, the one thing about him is his band is still amazing, and he sells out his shows.
Right.
So he's doing the Arcada and some of the small, but they're sold out. And the one thing that we've seen him probably 20 times.
Wow. Okay.
Whether it be with Cinderella or not. And the one thing about Tom is he puts on the most energy you'll ever see out of any singer. Like he's singing, how many times he's probably sung "Shake Me" in his life? Right?
Oh, sure.
Since
Right.
1986.
Right.
He sings it like it
That's
was
the curse
first,
of writing a good song.
I know,
is,
but he sings it like it's the first time he's ever done it.
Right.
And he's never let me down. I mean, he's been through throat surgeries. He's had to take time off. He's gone through all this other stuff, but he just comes out and kills it, kicks ass every single time.
Right.
And there's, like I said, they're sold out. I think a lot of people know them, maybe a little bit more than you or whatever. They didn't have as many hits, but we've had great success so far, kind of doing it. So.
Good. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. It's not like I don't know who they are. It's
Right.
because they weren't they weren't on my heavy rotation, but definitely I heard a song on the radio and, there was back in the 80s, there was a, station, and I can't remember it right now off the top of my head. Was it Z95 or something like that? It was just like all hair metal.
VBX was it? No, wasn't VBX? No, not VBX.
No, I don't think it was VBX.
I think
103.5,
the
right?
Blaze, yeah.
The Blaze, 103.5.
There you go. That's what I was
Blaze,
thinking. Yeah, because they were all over that radio station, and I definitely know who they are.
Yeah.
It just wasn't my go-to. All
And then one day you turned the station on, and it was all gone. It was all different.
It was.
They didn't even say anything.
It was gone. Right.
Like, where's the docking? And they're like, we don't do that anymore.
And what are these Red Hot Chili Peppers and this Nirvana group, and then Soundgarden before Chris Cornell actually found his voice.
Right.
They were doing all that slower kind of darker music, and then all of a sudden one day I was like, oh my God, Chris Cornell can sing his ass off. Yeah.
You're listening to the Rock and Roll Chicago Podcast.
Hi, I'm Rick Anthony. I'd like to thank my radio brothers, Ray the Roadie and Hollywood Mike, for allowing me to tell you about my podcast, the Someone You Should Know podcast. We spotlight musicians, authors, and interesting people, and we like to say we're making a difference one artist at a time. The podcast is heard twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays, and you can check it out on your favorite streaming platforms and on the web at someoneyoushouldknowpodcast.com. That's the Someone You Should Know podcast with me, Rick Anthony, making a difference one artist at a time.
I'm Christy from Crime Cave Podcast. I've had a huge interest in true crime since my days of watching marathons of Snapped back in the mid-90s. I needed an outlet to talk about the cases that have haunted me for a very long time. With each episode under 20 minutes, I shine a light on some of the most bizarre cases in the last 50 years. Join me in the Crime Cave.
So your phone starts ringing and they're saying, hey, we want you guys to do a full night, right? Mm-hmm. What's the set list going to kind of shape up to be if you have to add stuff to kind of fill in a little bit more? What kind of stuff are you guys working on?
Oh,
you don't remember?
I do. We're doing, so we're obviously trying to tailor stuff to Eric's voice and that style of music. So you've got Jackal, you've got AC/DC, you've got Brittany Fox, another little known band.
Kicks. We're doing some,
some kicks. Yeah.
Remember, Accept.
Oh yeah.
So we do some Accept.
Except Tesla, we just threw in some Loudness.
See,
We're
now
kind
Tesla,
of all over the place.
Tesla is my favorite band of all time.
Oh, is it?
Oh gosh.
Okay.
Yeah. I've seen Tesla many, many, many times. Yeah. You do some Tesla, you've got me. I'll go
We're
see
doing
you.
Tesla.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're not doing Love Song. It's a great song, but every band is doing Love
Everybody.
Song.
Yeah.
So
right.
we're not doing that one.
Right. I've got every one of their albums. I absolutely love Tesla. Yeah.
Yeah, so do we. I mean, it was one of those bands that kind of came out in that same era, and they weren't the poofy hair metal bands.
No, they weren't.
They were
They
like
were
an Aerosmith rock and roll.
They were a
band
blues
that-
band.
yeah.
They really were a blues band when you break down the music. They were a blues band.
And and funny, tied all together, Tesla took over for Cinderella on the David Lee Roth tour that year.
Oh, really? No kidding.
Yeah. So I was in Connecticut. I grew up there, and I saw Tesla on their very first major performance anywhere. They said, "Here's a band from California, Tesla." And,
Yeah.
and they played, and I remember them from that night forever. It's
Right.
like they were so good. So
Right.
yeah, great band.
Yeah, I saw them twice at the House of Blues. And there was one time where I was, well, let's just say there were other factors that prevent me from remembering the evening.
You don't want to list them?
No, but I always thought they were great. I mean, back in the early 90s, my guitar, my amplifier, even the clothes that I wore looked like Frankie Hannon's. Everything.
Wow.
I had a yellow Washburn guitar with one knob, just
Love
like
it.
Frankie Hannon's. Yeah. Yeah.
You should start a Tesla tribute band.
You know what? I can't sing like that anymore. Forget it, man. I got too much stuff going on, but that's a good idea though.
Yeah.
Pet Shop Boys?
Pet Shop. Yeah. Pet Shop Boys.
You can do that all day.
Yeah. Wow. So what kind of gigs do you guys have on the books coming up for 2024?
Say like February on.
Yeah.
Well, we do. Our next one is December 30th. So we're opening up with Poisoned Crew.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
Over at the Rookies Rock House in West Dundee, right? Or is it East? West? Yeah, West Dundee. It's a great venue.
They actually told us about that when they were here. Yeah.
So in terms of 2024, the bookings haven't happened yet. I mean, it's funny, like we may not have anything and all of a sudden we'll get a bunch of calls, to go do it. We do something every year out in Wisconsin called, what is it again? Tribute Island.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever been to that?
Yeah, Kenosha or something.
Kenosha, yeah.
Right.
That's a good time.
Yeah, it is.
So we fit right. We've done it 2 years in a row now, and that's a blast. I mean, so I'm sure we'll be part of that too. And it's just fun to be with all those tribute bands and stuff like that. Everybody kind of liking the same stuff and everything. So,
right.
Yeah. So like I said, I mean, the bookings just kind of happen, and all of a sudden we'll get calls and can you do this? Yeah, we'll do that, but so
right.
Just hop on it. And I think what's also interesting, I think when Night Song with Gallery, we've done like, we do a lot of the biker places out in the middle of cornfields, like the Psycho Silo Saloon and stuff like that, which are just
that's
amazing.
A fun place.
Oh,
that's
amazing.
That's such a fun place. Yeah.
Amazing venues that we get to do. And the stuff that we do with the classic rock stuff is perfect for that. And like I said, we work so hard. We just weren't getting like a lot of the shows, but with Night Songs, we were getting into all the venues that we've always wanted to play.
Okay.
Whether it be, Tailgaters and Sundance Saloon.
Nice. Yeah.
Rookies Rock House, Brower House in Lombard. I don't know if you've ever been there. We played at the Forge a couple times.
Them all. Yeah. Oh, have you? Okay.
Like, I think our second gig was at the Forge.
Yeah.
We went we just started this thing and all of a sudden the Forge was asking us to come out, which was just awesome.
How is it? We are literally right across the street and we're here all the time when there's, something going on there. I have never stepped foot over there in that place because it's just always so packed over there.
Yeah, it's awesome. You got to get over there.
Yeah.
It's a standing room only. Just pack yourself on the floor and have a good time.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Interesting.
So booking wise, real quick, Axe, who is not here tonight, does all of our booking for us.
Okay.
So we give him.
That's why he's not here. He's looking for.
He's
working hard.
He should
working.
be.
So we give him all the dates. So he's in the process of penciling everything in. So we'll be getting calls or texts or emails from him saying this date, this date, this date. So over the next few weeks, it's going to start to fill up slowly.
Right.
So he's on it right now.
And we're at a point where we have to say no to some things too. So that's kind of like that's a good place to be, I guess, because you're getting asked. So that's
Yeah, and Steve,
I know. I'm always available. Eric's never around.
that's not true. Steve's always, you could literally say to Steve, "Are you available?" Yes.
Right. So what was the date at show with Poison Crew again? February?
December 30th.
December 30th.
Oh, it's December 30th.
Yeah, right before news. Yeah.
Oh, no kidding. Okay. Yeah, no, that Cinderella, Poison.
It's the eve of the
Motley Crue.
Eve of the Eve. Yeah.
Eve of the Eve.
Yeah.
And they're such great people. All those guys.
Yeah.
They're a lot of fun.
That's the other thing is we would hang out with these guys even if we weren't playing. They're just really good people.
So, by the end of their set, some of us will be up on stage playing a couple songs with them.
Yeah, we had them in here a few weeks ago, and then a few weeks after that, we had T.D. Clark back in here with his band.
Yep.
Yeah. So we've had the kind of the run of mill on several occasions. They're all good guys.
Yeah. Actually, TD was at our last show at the Rock House or at Brower House.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah. So everybody's out supporting everybody, and that's what we do.
Right.
That's what we're all doing out there.
Mm-hmm.
So where was the first show ever for you guys?
Penny Road Pub. Right.
Was it really?
Yeah, right before it shut down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, everything was still shut down. It was kind of a
it's a secret show. Don't tell anybody.
Just lie.
No, I think you mean.
Well, the place is
Do you
gone
mean?
now. So
No, that's what I was going to ask. You mean before things shut down for COVID, or before the place shut down?
Before they shut. Well, no, it was still kind of on like a COVID lockdown, and we were wondering what kind of crowd was going to show up, and people wanted to get out so much it was packed.
It was super packed, and it was crazy because I remember, and all of us are all talking. We're all going, "There's not going to be anybody at this show, man." And we get in there, and it's standing room only. And we're like, "Oh my God, this is our first show."
Yeah.
Do we know all this stuff? How good are we going to do this? And everybody's having these little micro panic attacks. I was.
Yeah.
And going,
I think you were the only one.
I probably was, because I was like, let's just go out and rock it out. And
Eric did too.
He was terrified.
He was that all the time.
But that kind of set the tone for, I think, the future of Night Songs, because we walked out there going, man, this thing works.
Yeah.
This thing really works.
It was well received. And we had, like you said, we had no idea what we were looking at.
Yeah.
When we first went out. And that night we played with Tooth and Nail, which is a Dokken tribute band.
Okay.
So everybody was there for the same time frame of music, and it went over so good. And you're right. We walked out of there thinking this might work.
The last time I played there, we opened up for that same band.
It's possible. They played there a lot.
That place has been there forever.
I was in a band called Forget Hannah several years ago.
I know
we played
those guys.
there. Yeah, I was the front man of Forget Hannah for like 8 years.
I already forgot about that.
That's right.
They're still together though.
Yeah, they're still together.
Yeah.
I made a move to another project, but yeah, I think we opened up for Tooth and Nail. Yeah. And that was actually when there wasn't a real stage there. They literally just put kind of like plywood on top of two pool tables. or at least I'm sure they built it up kind of, a little more sturdy than that, but you look under the stage and those are pool tables under there.
Mind if we play through?
Yeah. But I was so sorry to see that place close down though, because it was almost like a rite of passage.
It was
to play there.
Yeah.
It's like, man, it wasn't necessarily the funnest gig you were ever going to play. And God knows the load in sucked because it was that narrow little stairway in the whole bit that was there. Yeah. But it was like, you wanted to play there. Okay, gosh, we got to play Penny Road Pub so bad. And you get there and you play Penny Road Pub and you're like, okay, we don't have to do it anymore. But when they call you back and you want it was always like an honor.
Go. Yeah.
Yeah. It was always like an honor to play there.
It was like a modern day, like back in the day, it was the Thirsty Whale or Malo's or something like that. You just had to play there no matter what.
And it even went a little bit farther than that because I I grew up in the Schaumburg area and stuff. And I would go over into that area every once in a while and sneak in when I was underage just to see what was going on there. And national touring acts would be passing through town and, they'd stop the tour bus there. Next thing you know, they're right there playing Penny Road Pub, and you're sneaking in and seeing bands like I think Poison played there one time, but it's like, wow, there's 300 people in this place and we're watching a band like Poison for free and stuff.
So you remember Toto's then from Schaumburg?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's a great venue.
Yeah.
That was a lot. I don't know if it's still there. I think it's probably way
I don't think so.
That was a good place. It's gone.
Do you remember Hugging on Higgins in Schaumburg?
No.
Actually, it may have been. That might actually be Hoffman Estates, but it's on Higgins, or it's on 72, and that's where I played my first gig. I was 17 years old, and and they didn't allow anybody to put. They didn't allow at the time. You had to be 21 to get in, but we just said, "Oh yeah, we're all 21," and we and nobody was
mustache.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. And nobody was at the show because it was the same night as an Elton John concert at Poplar Creek. So as we're packing up, the concert's getting out. Now there's 100 people in the place, and we just played for 4 people.
Yeah.
So
I had those.
Yeah, we all hung out in the same stomping grounds for a little while then. So
Stay Out West, that was over there.
Stay Out West was over there over in Hanover Park. Yeah. I knew the owners of that place because I lived on that end of Schaumburg. I was on the north end of Schaumburg by Woodfield Mall. I was on kind of like the southwest end where it kind of butted up against like Roselle.
Yeah.
Roselle Road and Nergy and in that area over there. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. So what's next for you guys? You've got the gig coming up. You got any other plans for like doing stuff with the website? Cause I didn't find a website. I saw your Facebook page.
Oh, good. You got that. Yeah.
Yep. I saw the Facebook page. That's how people can find you, right?
It's Night Song Chicagoland is the Facebook page.
Okay.
Right? And then we have we're on Instagram as well. And, we had a web page for a while. But it seemed like, especially
nobody went to it.
Nobody went to it. I mean, and I think for our demographics, whatever that means anymore, but I mean, everybody's, on Facebook and still that. So we do, I mean, I think it's just the best way to promote.
Right.
So we do a lot of that. You still do the poster thing. I mean, it's still funny, like bars still want the posters made and stuff like that to put them up, so you've made it when you found your poster over the urinal, that's how you know this, I finally made it.
Yeah.
Walk in, you see that, we should really get the urinal cups with Night Songs, urinal cups. I think there you go. Yeah. Those would be great.
Or the cakes or whatever.
Cakes. I meant the urinal cakes. Yeah. No one likes my marketing ideas ever.
We do have the thongs, so why not?
Oh, that's true.
You know what?
The night thong.
We've had our logo on a night thong.
Isn't you know what? Nobody else believes me. You're the first guys that have said we've done this too, because when I was in a band years ago and we did the same thing, we had black thong panties. The band was called Static, and we put the logo on the front of the black thong panties. We couldn't keep them in stock.
Yeah, it reminds me I got to order more. It's weird. The used ones sell for more than I'm not saying who's wearing them, but it's funny because it just works night thongs, and so what we would do is we would have one, and always the female that we'd throw it to, of course, with whoever was like, who seems to be having the best time when we were playing, that person, and then we, throw it to them and stuff like that. So, and we, got shirts,
and then they come to the next show and go, I'm wearing my night thong.
I'm wearing my thong.
Okay. I can't look at you now. I'm playing. I'm sorry.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Let me see it.
I washed it once and it dissolved. You gotta.
I would just tell them, so am I.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, I ordered them from North Korea. What'd you expect?
Yeah. Just wear it off to the side. Then you won't have to wash it. You'll be good.
Right, so you got to find that weird little marketing thing sometimes, make it different.
Yeah.
So
I agree. That was the best thing that any band that I've ever been in did, was to have black thong panties printed up with the logo on it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
You guys ever play down south around here anywhere besides the Forge?
No, I don't think so. We've done. Actually, it's funny. We've been at the Thirsty Beaver in Crestwood.
Right.
Great
A lot of fun.
I just love
a lot of fun there.
A lot of fun there. And then we were at Decibel on the Rocks, which was in Portage, Indiana.
Oh, wow.
Did that a couple times.
Right.
That's a fun place. And there was, where else did we play in Indiana the one time?
That
Hammond.
No, the theater. It was
theater. What?
The Hobart.
Hobart.
Oh,
Yeah.
but besides the Forge, we haven't, we did Rockford once for a benefit.
right.
But we haven't hit this apart. I mean, we'd love to, obviously.
And where's home base for you guys?
St. Charles.
St. Charles.
Maybe,
Okay. Yeah.
in that area. So
Right,
We'll get messages on our Facebook saying, hey, you guys need to come to Iowa. You need to come to Michigan. And it's
Right.
because
Everywhere.
you go through Facebook or you go online and there's no other real like Cinderella tribute
Right.
band out there.
Right.
Like anywhere. There's a couple and one of them hasn't played for like 10 years.
Yeah.
And another one, I think there might be one in Michigan that may be active.
Well, that there is a true Cinderella band then, because they've even broke up.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. Wow.
So it's kind of cool to have that market cornered. Like
Yeah.
That is, yeah.
Ed's right. We'll see comments all the time, come to Cleveland,
Yeah.
come to Minneapolis, whatever. And we might out there. Hey, have somebody get a hold of us.
It's always fun to do it. Yeah, absolutely.
And then
Do
the
it.
next question is, how much?
Well,
Well, that's always the leading question.
That's the question. Yeah.
we just have a good time. That's the whole thing about it. We don't want to take it too serious. We want to play and we want to play very well for everybody. But the biggest thing is we go up there and we just have a blast.
Yeah, I think you're hitting it right on the head, Ed.
It's just fun. We hang out, we go out, we go to shows, we go to concerts.
That's probably the biggest thing, though, that when we finish a show, you walk out in the audience, and probably the most common response that I get from people is like, or comment, they're like, Jesus, you guys just look like you're having fun. That, you rarely see a band out there. You guys are moving around. You're having a good time. You're tight. But more than that, you guys are all laughing at each other and having fun up there like a bunch of kids.
yeah.
And I think that's kind of the magic that makes this band really work. So,
Yeah, it's 6 really good friends that are all into the same kind of music, and we just we're band brothers, and Jill is the band sister. I mean, everybody just gets along great. There's absolutely no drama in this band. Just a lot of good times, a lot of fun.
Good. That's because you guys are older like me.
Yeah,
And
probably.
it's like how many bands were you in until you were like 30 or 35, right? And then finally it clicks together and you're in a band with no drama.
Yeah,
It's like everybody matures,
it's a good feeling. I mean,
it's because we're all just tired.
Yeah. We don't want to, I don't want to go through this anymore. You want to play drums, you're in.
Yeah. Well, when you're up until you're 30, you're going to be that one big kick-ass band that's going to make it big.
Yeah, right.
And be worldwide and everything. And then about 30, you say, I got to get a real job.
Yeah, right.
And then you realize you're doing it for fun.
Yeah.
right.
There's all the jealousy. It's like, if you're going to be in my band, you can't be in that person's band either. And you can't do this. And it's like, it's just terrible.
Yep.
And now we're like, we don't care.
No, you don't. Nobody cares anymore. No.
Yeah.
Just play. Have fun.
Have fun. So,
Well, we had a lot of fun, guys.
yeah.
appreciate it.
Thanks a lot for coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for everything. I really appreciate
Say
it.
hi to the other two for us.
That's right.
They were missed,
They were.
Yes, absolutely.
unless you got them like tied up in the trunk or something.
Not tonight.
Okay.
They're getting fired. So
Oh, and I want to thank you for the hat you gave me. Thank God it wasn't a thong.
Yeah, I know. We're all out. Sorry. I didn't know your size.
I am very grateful for the fact it wasn't a thong for him. Thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem.
I used to wear them a long time ago. When they first came out, I wore them, but every time you fart, it would whistle
So you were just whistling constantly, weren't
all
you?
the time, man. It's like, I can't wear these
You were
things.
like a deer whistled on a highway.
What's great about ours is when you fart through ours, it sounds like nobody's full. I mean, we've got it tuned that way. So
Yeah. It goes,
I feel good. All righty, guys. Thanks a lot for coming out.
yeah, we better get out of here before this goes worse.
thanks again.
Thank you.
See, now I could see more than just one Cinderella song.
Yeah, I was surprised. We're up to like 4.
Yeah. As they were naming them, you're like, oh yeah. But then I must admit, I was sitting here in my own head saying, oh yeah. I know that one too.
And oddly enough, when I found out what they did, the thing that popped into my mind the most was the concert T-shirt that all the girls were wearing back in the 80s. It was a picture of the band and Cinderella written in purple across the front of it.
Right.
And then the first thing that popped in my head was the concert T-shirt more than the music. But
well, yeah, that's it's kind of like when the Loop Radio. Who would you picture? Lorelei in that T-shirt.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, if you've been around long enough to know Lorelei.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But they got quite a unique thing here. Like they were saying, they got a lot of places calling them because there aren't any Cinderella tribute bands out there.
Nope. Very, very specific.
Yeah.
I was a little surprised by the fact that they were a Cinderella tribute band.
Mm-hmm.
But, hey,
it's working.
It's working for them. Yeah. And there's people that are going out seeing their shows, and people are asking for them to open up for them and everything,
which is great.
That actually sounds like that would be a really good show. That's something if I had the time, I would go and see them opening up for Poison Crew. Mm-hmm. Cinderella, Poison, Motley Crue music all in one place.
Yep.
That's going to draw in a pretty fun crowd, I think.
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. We'll have to see if we can do it. We always say that, but it's so hard to get out.
It's December 30th.
Yeah. Well, that was 2 months ago.
December 30th. Oh,
yes, people, we are recording this before the holidays.
oh, that's right. We are. Yeah.
And it will be out this is probably February right now. So that's why I'm looking at it.
All right.
So, all righty. Well, check them out. I'm sure they're going to get their schedule together for 2024. You can find them somewhere. It seems like they're predominantly up northwest. And I'm sure you'll find them at some fancy club up there. But as always, thank you for listening to the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast. And new episodes out every Tuesday. See you next Tuesday.
The Rock and Roll Chicago podcast is edited by Paul Martin. Theme song courtesy of M&R Rush. The Rock and Roll Chicago podcast does not own the rights to any of the music heard on the show. The music is used to promote the guests that are featured.
Oh, Chicago.